Chapters 12 and 13, Power, Influence, Politics, and Leadership. Is that not a perfect topic for this time of year? Aren't you just sick to death of politics? I know I am. Regardless of who you supported in the election, we all have to face the fact that it was a terribly negative and divisive election process. But now that the politicians have either gotten our vote or overcome our opposition, it is time to let the politicians get on with fulfilling all of those promises they made. Oh, by the way, let me know when all of those promises are fulfilled, will you please? Just a few short weeks ago, all the politicians loved us. Do you feel that the love has dissipated just a little bit? Now, I know I sound negative and skeptical. That's only because I am. But if you think politics is ugly in our country, you should see some of the politics played in our organizations. As a matter of fact, you can see politics in all organizations. Why do politicians love us during the election process? Well, simply, they want our vote. But most importantly, they want power over us. And that's what it's all about, power. I think we may be able to say that the more power one has, the less they have to worry about influencing other people. The power does it for them. If that statement is true, what do you think it says about our chances of feeling the love once again from the politicians over the next few years, since they already have the power? And this divisive election process has likely done great harm to our nation and our culture. And to overcome that harm, we need to hope that we have strong leadership. Thus, one of the reasons why I combined these chapters together. But as much as we want to complain and as sick as we are of politics, there's no question that politics is a part of life, and we can't eliminate politics, and nor should we ignore politics. We must overcome the negative impacts of politics gone wrong. There's some good stuff in these two chapters, a lot of good stuff. The authors, of course, take an academic approach to the material. They explain the concepts of power and influence and politics and leadership in detail and give some good tools for you to use. My lecture largely tries to simplify some of the material into my good old country boy mentality. Now, that's not intended to diminish the text material, just to add to it and simplify it somewhat. I'll talk about power and the fact that I believe that the quest for power is much greater and much stronger than the quest for money. You know the old adage, follow the money? Well, I believe follow the power is more appropriate. I'll discuss something that the text doesn't necessarily make clear, in my opinion. In organizations charts don't always tell you where the power lies. Who's really in charge? And that's important to know when you're working for or considering working for a company. By the way, who's really in charge at your house? I'll simplify the 9 influence tactics and the 6 principles of persuasion to a few common sense steps. Finally, in dealing with power and influence, I'll give you a few additional steps you can use to influence individuals and groups. We'll explore politics. That's kind of like exploring the sewer. But I'll also give you an example to demonstrate that politics can be good and positive. And we'll talk briefly about first impressions, and then we will dive into the leadership topic, which is an ocean unto itself. One of my goals in these chapters is not necessarily to teach you all these topics and concepts, because that's impossible. They're simply too big. My goal is to whet your appetite and convince you to initiate a lifelong study of leadership. I don't know how many books I've read on the topic of leadership, and I still read more. Leadership, which includes power, influence, and politics, is a skill without limit. Just when you think you've got it, there's more to get. and all you learn can only make you better. So how good are you, and how good do you want to be in terms of leadership? It's really up to you. So let's start this journey, and hopefully we won't end it with the end of this chapter. There's lots more out there to learn.